Finally, tonight, the most public event with over 1 million people watching as April the giraffe gives birth. The animal kingdom is full of incredible birth processes that seem almost too strange to be true. Some are so bizarre that if they weren't filmed, would be hard to believe. But before we begin, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 21. Clever raccoons. Raccoons are a true example of intelligence and adaptability in the animal world. These medium-sized mammals are easily identified by the black markings around their eyes and their thick tails with rings. As omnivores, raccoons have a varied diet, eating everything from fruits and insects to small animals, and in urban areas, they are known for rummaging through trash cans or searching for food in human environments. They are famous for their skillful front paws, which they use like hands, grabbing and manipulating objects with dexterity. Regarding reproduction, females give birth once a year, usually in spring after a gestation period of about 63 days. When born, the babies, called kits, are blind, helpless, and dependent on their mother to survive. The mother takes them to a safe place, which can be a hollow tree, an abandoned den, or even attics. After about 3 weeks, the kits start to open their eyes and explore. Around 12 weeks, they learn to forage, although they usually stay close to their mother for a while longer, gaining the skills needed to survive on their own. Number 20. Kangaroo pouch. Kangaroos have one of the most unique and fascinating birth processes in the animal kingdom. Unlike many mammals, their gestation period is very short, lasting about 30 to 36 days. When a baby kangaroo, or joey, is born, it is in an extremely underdeveloped state. The joey is tiny, almost the size of a pink bean, hairless, and weighs less than a gram. Unlike some animals that carry their young in their mouth or on their backs, the mother kangaroo doesn't pick up the joey immediately. Instead, the joey instinctively crawls into the mother's pouch in search of safety and warmth. The pouch is lined with special tissue that helps the joey attach to one of the mother's teats, where it continues to develop. Inside the pouch, the joey feeds on milk and gradually begins to mature, growing fur and acquiring more kangaroo-like features. As the joey grows stronger, it spends more time outside the pouch, but always returns for safety. Between 8 months and 1 year, it is ready to leave the pouch and live independently, though it may still return for comfort and security. Number 19. The incredible vocal sac of Darwin's frog. A surprising parental protection strategy. When we think of frog reproduction, we usually imagine eggs being laid in water, where they become tadpoles and eventually adult frogs. This classic cycle is the norm for most anuran species. However, nature is full of surprises, and some species have developed extraordinary strategies to protect their offspring. Among these is the fascinating behavior of Darwin's frogs, which exhibit a truly unique adaptation: the use of the male's vocal sac as a living incubator. The conventional reproductive cycle versus Darwin's frog innovation. In most frogs, the female lays her eggs in bodies of water like ponds or streams. The eggs are fertilized externally by the male, and the resulting tadpoles remain in the water until they undergo complete metamorphosis, growing into young frogs capable of living out of water. However, this process exposes the eggs to numerous dangers such as aquatic predators, parasites, harsh weather, and even competition for natural resources. This drastically reduces the survival chances of many eggs and tadpoles. This is where Darwin's frog, named after the naturalist Charles Darwin, shows its evolutionary brilliance: the unique incubation process in the male's vocal sac. After the female lays the eggs, the male Darwin's frog performs an unexpected action. He swallows the eggs, but not to eat them, rather to protect them. Instead of digesting the eggs, the male directs them into his vocal sac, a structure that, in common frogs, functions as a resonance chamber to amplify croaking. In this case, the vocal sac acts as a safe, cozy nursery, a biological incubator where the eggs can develop away from external dangers. The moist mucosa and stable environment of the vocal sac provide ideal conditions for the embryo's growth. For about 8 weeks, the eggs remain in this protected place, while the embryos develop directly into fully formed tiny frogs, skipping the free tadpole stage. The males sacrifice fasting and absolute dedication. While caring for the eggs inside the vocal sac, the male Darwin's frog faces a tough challenge. He does not eat during the entire incubation period. This prolonged fasting requires enormous energy reserves and physical endurance. This act demonstrates a rare parental commitment among amphibians, highlighting the male's active role in offspring protection, in contrast to many other species where the female is primarily responsible for care. During this time, the male must stay alert and protected, avoiding predators and minimizing sudden movements that could harm the eggs in his vocal sac. The birth, the spectacle of life emerging. When the 8 weeks end, the tiny frogs are fully developed inside the father's vocal sac. At this crucial moment, the male spits out the live, young, small frogs ready to face the world. This active birth is an impressive and unique moment in nature, with the little ones already able to jump, hunt insects, and survive outside the protected aquatic environment. By completing this cycle, the male fulfills his primary role in ensuring the next generation's survival, increasing the offspring's chances of reaching juvenile stage compared to those left to chance in the water, evolutionary benefits, and ecological importance. The method of Darwin's frogs offers several adaptive advantages. Protection from aquatic predators. Eggs are kept away from fish, predatory larvae, and other animals that often consume eggs and tadpoles. Controlled environment. The vocal sac maintains a moist and safe environment, protecting against extreme temperature changes and drought. Guaranteed fertility. By carrying the eggs, the male ensures all eggs are fertilized, avoiding common losses in external fertilization. Reduced mortality. The survival rate of offspring increases significantly, helping maintain populations in increasingly threatened natural habitats. Moreover, this type of parental care is a wonderful example of the diversity and complexity of reproductive strategies found in nature. A creative solution showing how life adapts to overcome challenges. Additional curiosities about Darwin's frogs and their vocal sacs. The male's ability to swallow and incubate eggs in his vocal sac is a rare and specialized physiological skill involving adaptations in the throat lining and metabolism. The size of the vocal sac can increase considerably during incubation, accommodating a significant number of eggs. Darwin's frogs are found in specific, often isolated areas of South America, where this strategy gives them an advantage over other species. Scientific studies on these frogs help us better understand the evolution of parental care in amphibians and provide insights for conservation efforts. Final reflection. The extraordinary strategy of Darwin's frog reminds us of the incredible capacity of animals to innovate to ensure survival. In a world where ecosystem balance is constantly threatened, stories like this invite us to admire and protect biodiversity. Thus, the male Darwin's frog's vocal sac is not just a sound organ, but a true symbol of paternal love, dedication, and natural ingenuity. A living incubator that defies expectations and teaches us that even in the most unexpected places, life finds a way to thrive. Number 18, super protective mother crocodile, tireless guardian of her young. When we think of crocodiles, the image that often comes to mind is that of a fierce and relentless predator, one of the largest reptiles in nature, reigning supreme in rivers and swamps. However, behind this reputation as a wild beast hides a surprisingly sweet and dedicated behavior, the extreme care female crocodiles give to their newborn babies. The mother crocodile is undoubtedly one of the most attentive and devoted protectors in the animal kingdom, preparing the nest. The first step for protection. The crocodile's motherhood cycle begins long before the babies are born. When the breeding season arrives, the female leaves the water in search of the ideal place to lay her eggs. Choosing the right spot is crucial to ensure the safety of the future brood. She needs to find an area near water, but safe enough from terrestrial predators and sudden floods. Using her powerful legs and jaws, the female crocodile carefully digs a hole in soft soil, usually sandy ground or dense vegetation. This nest is the sanctuary where she will lay between 20 and 50 eggs, each wrapped in a hard but fragile shell that shelters the next generation of crocodiles. After laying the eggs, the mother covers the nest with leaves, branches, and soil, camouflaging it from hungry predators like birds, mammals, and even other reptiles. The bearing process is so meticulous that it makes it difficult for any curious animal to find the nest. Constant vigilance, 3 months of protection and patience. One of the most remarkable traits of the mother crocodile is her tireless watchfulness. For about 3 months, while the babies develop inside the eggs, the mother does not leave the site. She keeps a strict guard, using her robust body and intimidating presence to scare off predators and intruders. During this period, the mother crocodile alternates between rest and patrol, but her focus is always on the nest. Her maternal instinct is so strong that she can even recognize small changes in the surrounding environment, anticipating risks and preparing to act quickly. The baby's signal, the chirp that saves lives. How does the mother know the exact moment her babies are ready to be born? The answer lies in the surprising communication between them. When the babies are ready to break out of the shell, they emit characteristic high-pitched and persistent chirping sounds. These sounds travel through the soil and reach the attentive ears of the mother crocodile, who immediately responds to the call. This sound signal is vital as it allows the mother to know the perfect moment to intervene and ensure the safety of the newborns. The delicate rescue, the protective mouth of the mother. As soon as the mother hears the chirps, she approaches the nest with extreme caution. Very delicately, using her mouth, which may seem frightening to humans, she picks up the babies one by one. This action requires precision because the babies are fragile and any abrupt movement could hurt them. The mother crocodile's mouth works like a protective tool, a kind of mobile safe box where the babies can be transported to a safer environment. The final destination is the water, where the little ones have a better chance of escaping terrestrial predators and where they will begin to learn the survival skills typical of their species. The post-birth period. Teach, protect, and guide, the mother's care doesn't end when the babies reach the water. On the contrary, a new phase begins, protecting and guiding the young crocodiles during their first months of life. During this time, the mother stays close to the babies, teaching them to swim and feed. Her intimidating presence wards off potential threats while the babies grow and gain strength. This close relationship usually lasts until the babies are big enough to defend themselves, which can take up to a year. Maternal instinct and species survival. This protective behavior of the mother crocodile is one of the main reasons why these reptiles, which have existed practically since the dinosaur era, continue to thrive in their natural habitats despite environmental threats and human hunting. Despite being fragile, baby crocodiles receive one of the best parental protections in the animal kingdom, drastically increasing their chances of survival during the critical early months. Curiosities about crocodiles and their mothers. The female crocodile can remain vigilant at the nest throughout the incubation period, often without eating much, demonstrating an impressive maternal sacrifice. The chirping sounds of the babies can be heard up to 100 meters away, helping the mother locate babies still inside the nest. Crocodiles can recognize their babies' voices, and the babies recognize their mother's presence, strengthening the protective bond. The number of babies that survive to adulthood is small, and maternal protection is a decisive factor for offspring success. Final considerations. The mother crocodile's protective instinct reminds us that even among the fiercest creatures, love and maternal care are powerful forces that sustain life. This tireless dedication is not only a survival strategy, but also a beautiful lesson about the importance of family and protection in the harshest conditions. Therefore, when looking at a crocodile, beyond its apparent ferocity, we must recognize the essential role its mothers play in the cycle of life. True guardians who protect with claws, teeth, and above all, with an unbreakable maternal heart. Number 17, the backup baby, the quokka's unique survival strategy. In the fascinating world of animal reproduction, there are countless examples of surprising adaptations created by evolution to maximize species survival chances. One of the most intriguing and lesser known is the reproductive strategy of the quokka, a South American marsupial scientifically named Dromaeosaurus glaroides. This small creature, related to opossums, has a unique approach that reflects an ingenious solution to the risks of the wild, the so-called backup baby. Dual gestation and the mystery of the backup baby. Unlike most mammals that carry 1 or 2 babies, the quokka carries 2 embryos inside her for about 28 days, just over a month. This may seem common at first glance, but the dynamic between these 2 babies catches scientists' attention. The first baby, affectionately called Joey, a term used for marsupial young, develops normally, and at the end of gestation is born under relatively normal conditions. However, the second baby is different. It remains inside the mother's uterus as a sort of biological backup. The purpose of the backup baby. This backup baby works as a natural plan B for the species. If, for some reason, the main joey does not survive birth or the first few weeks of life, the backup baby will already be practically formed and ready to be born quickly, ensuring the mother can continue reproducing with a viable offspring. However, there is a complication. The backup baby is slightly larger than the usual space in the mother's marsupial pouch, the place where the joey settles to grow and develop after birth. This means the second baby cannot simply replace the first immediately without some physiological challenges, the pouch period and postnatal dependence. The joey, upon birth, is extremely small, fragile, and helpless, weighing less than a bean. It settles in the mother's pouch, where it finds a safe and nourishing environment to continue developing. Over the next 6 months, it feeds on maternal milk, grows, and strengthens its organs. Even after leaving the pouch, the young quokka remains under maternal care for another month before being fully prepared to face the wild. This extended care period is essential for survival, as the outside environment is full of predators and challenges. Why this strategy is vital for the quokka's survival. The quokka is a vulnerable species, facing threats such as habitat loss, natural predators, and environmental changes. That's why this strategy of carrying a backup baby works like a biological insurance policy, significantly increasing the mother's reproductive success chances. In other words, nature gave these small marsupials an evolutionary method to ensure that even in adverse conditions, the species can continue. Comparisons with other marsupials. Although many marsupials carry their young in pouches, few have this backup baby strategy. This uniqueness places the quokka in a very small group of animals that develop highly specialized methods to guarantee offspring survival. For example, kangaroos and koalas also have long pouch periods, but usually don't carry a backup embryo. This difference makes the quokka an important study subject for biologists interested in understanding the nuances of adaptive reproduction. Additional curiosities about the quokka. The quokka is mainly found in forest areas of Argentina and Chile. It is nocturnal and omnivorous, feeding on fruits, insects, and small animals. Despite its small size, about 25 centimeters long, the quokka plays a vital role in the ecosystem, helping with seed dispersal and insect control. Final reflection. The existence of the quokka's backup baby is a clear example of how evolution can create ingenious solutions to life's challenges. In a world where survival is constantly threatened by predators, climate changes, and habitat loss, these small biological details make all the difference for life to continue. Therefore, when thinking about the wonders of the animal kingdom, it's important to value both the great predators and the tiny creatures, each with their own secret strategy to overcome adversity. Number 16. Protective egg sac of crabs. Crabs have a fascinating reproductive process, especially during the rainy season when they begin to mate. The male crab goes to the shore and the female looks for a partner. After mating, the female carries the fertilized eggs under her abdomen in a special area called the egg sac. The eggs stay protected there for about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the species and environmental conditions. When the eggs are ready to hatch, the female releases them into the water at the right moment, usually when the tide is favorable. The eggs hatch into tiny larvae called zoea, which are transparent and very different from adult crabs. These larvae float with the currents and go through several developmental stages until they turn into megalopi, which look like small crabs but are not yet adults. They settle on the seabed and continue growing, molting several times until they become adult crabs. It's a long and complex metamorphosis, showing how incredible nature can be. Number 15. Unique and adaptable crabs. Crabs have a fascinating reproductive process, especially during the rainy season when they begin to mate. The male goes to the shore and the female looks for a partner. After mating, the female carries the fertilized eggs under her abdomen in a special area called the egg sac. The eggs stay protected there for about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the species and environmental conditions. When the eggs are ready to hatch, the female releases them into the water at the right moment, usually when the tide is favorable. The eggs hatch into tiny larvae called zoea, which are transparent and very different from adult crabs. These larvae float with the currents and go through several stages until they turn into megalopi, which look like small crabs but are not yet adults. They settle on the seabed and continue growing, molting several times until they become adults. Number 14. The fascinating birth of the sloth. sloths are some of the slowest creatures on Earth, but their birth process is anything but slow. There are two main types, the two-toed sloth and the three-toed sloth, each with a slightly different reproductive cycle. The two-toed sloth carries its baby for about 11.5 months, while the three-toed sloth has a much shorter gestation, lasting only 6 months. When it's time to give birth, the mother usually moves to a lower branch in the tree canopy and gives birth hanging upside down. This position ensures that if the baby falls, it won't fall from too high and risk injury. If that happens, the mother can slowly climb down to retrieve it. After birth, the placenta falls to the forest floor, and the mother climbs up to eat it, a common behavior in nature that probably provides a nutritional boost or helps keep predators away. The baby is born fully developed with open eyes, sharp claws, and teeth, and instinctively clings to the mother's fur. Although fully developed, the baby depends on the mother to learn survival skills in the forest. Newborns weigh between 300 and 500 grams, with three-toed sloths generally smaller than two-toed ones. These babies are completely dependent on the mother as they begin their lives in the treetops. Number 13, the long gestation of the giraffe. When it comes to animal pregnancy, giraffes have one of the longest gestation periods. While many animals carry their babies for 9 or 10 months, giraffes are pregnant for an impressive 15 months, about 470 days. Why does their pregnancy take so long? The answer lies in the development of the baby and the need for strength to survive in the dangerous savanna. At birth, a giraffe calf is already huge, usually weighing between 45 and 70 kilos and measuring over 1.8 meters tall. This size and strength are crucial for survival, since the calf needs to stand and run soon after birth to avoid predators. During birth, the mother stands up because lying down could hurt the baby due to its long neck and legs. The birth begins with the two front legs coming out, followed by the head and the rest of the body. After birth, the calves grow very quickly, increasing about 2.5 centimeters per day in the first week. Within a few hours, they can stand, walk, and even start feeding. The calves are born ready to face the wild and adapt to life on the savanna, with rapid growth and mobility essential for survival. Number 12, jawfish and their busy mouths. Jawfish are fascinating creatures, especially because of their large characteristic jaws. They have a unique and interesting birth process that somewhat resembles velvet spiders but is entirely different. After the female lays the eggs, she leaves and no longer cares for them. The male takes over the caregiver role, collecting all the eggs in his mouth. This unusual process is called mouth brooding, and as you can imagine, it's a big challenge for the father. For over a month, the eggs stay in the male's mouth, during which he doesn't eat. Sometimes he spits out the eggs and collects them back to ensure proper oxygenation. This process mirrors that of velvet spiders, where the eggs depend on the father for nutrients, though without harming him. When the eggs hatch, the male releases the newly formed babies into the ocean, ensuring the survival of the next generation. It's a fascinating form of parental care, showing unique ways animals guarantee the survival of their offspring. Number 11, the Lioness queen lion have long been celebrated for their majestic presence and social behaviors, earning their title as kings of the jungle. This title is not just for dominance, but also for how they raise their cubs. The lioness has a gestation period of about 100 days, crucial for the development of the cubs. During this time, she becomes less active, focusing on resting and feeding to ensure the baby's health. She also seeks a safe and isolated spot, away from the pride, to give birth, protecting the cubs from predators and rival lions. At birth, the cubs are small, blind, and deaf, weighing only 0.5 to 1 kg. In the first weeks, they depend entirely on their mother for warmth, protection, and food. The lioness nurses the cubs and stays in the den until they are ready to explore. When their eyes open, the curious cubs start moving, but remain close to their protective mother. After a few weeks, the cubs begin learning to interact with other lions and practice hunting skills. This careful process ensures the cubs grow strong and learn group life. Number 10. Seahorse DCE. Seahorses have one of the most unique mating and birth processes in the animal kingdom. During the mating season, the female transfers her eggs to a special pouch on the male's abdomen, similar to a kangaroo's pouch. This pouch acts as a safe and nutritious environment for the eggs to develop. Once inside the pouch, the male seahorse carries the eggs for about 2 to 3 weeks until they are ready to hatch. Unlike most animals, it is the male who takes responsibility for carrying and protecting the eggs. When the time comes, the male can give birth to up to 1,000 1,000 tiny baby seahorses all at once. After this miraculous event, the male recovers quickly and is ready to receive another batch of eggs from the female. This makes him one of the most dedicated fathers in the animal kingdom, able to repeat the process multiple times. An amazing example of how seahorses evolved to share reproductive responsibilities in such a fascinating way. Number 9. The long pregnancy of elephants. Elephants are among the most impressive creatures on Earth, and their pregnancy process is as remarkable as their size. Being the largest land mammals, they have the longest gestation period of any mammal, an impressive 22 months, almost 2 full years. This prolonged pregnancy is essential for the baby's development, which can weigh between 90 and 113 kilos at birth, roughly the size of an adult human. Due to the baby's size, females usually give birth to only one calf, though twins can rarely occur. The birthing process is carefully managed, and the mother usually chooses an isolated spot away from the herd to give birth, ensuring privacy and reducing the risk of predators. Surprisingly, just 20 minutes after birth, the calf can stand and within 2 days walk alongside the herd. The long gestation period ensures the calf is strong and capable of keeping up with the herd in the dangerous savanna, a vital adaptation for survival since the group must constantly move to avoid threats and ensure everyone's safety. Number 8. Farewell, Octopus Mother. The octopus has one of the most bizarre and sad birth processes in the animal kingdom. During mating season, the male and female meet briefly before going their separate ways. The female then looks for a safe place to deposit her eggs. The gestation or incubation period can last several weeks depending on the species. Once the female lays thousands of eggs, she firmly attaches them in a den or crevice and does not leave them, not even to eat. The process is incredibly taxing for the mother, who dedicates herself entirely to protecting and caring for the eggs, even shutting down the part of her brain responsible for hunger. As a result, she doesn't eat and eventually dies of starvation while guarding her offspring. When the eggs hatch, the mother octopus who sacrificed herself for the next generation is no longer alive. This tragic cycle highlights the extreme lengths some animals go to ensure their offspring's survival. Number 7. Speedy snails. Snails are fascinating creatures, and their reproductive habits are just as interesting as they are unique. Did you know that snails are hermaphrodites? This means that each snail has both male and female reproductive organs, allowing them to reproduce more efficiently. There are about 43,000 species of snails living in various environments, from land and fresh water to salt water. When snails reproduce, they don't just meet to mate, they perform a special ritual known as darting. During this dance, they shoot calcium spines at each other to stimulate one another. This behavior helps ensure both are ready for fertilization, increasing the chances of healthy eggs. After the ritual, each snail looks for a damp place to lay their eggs, which can range from 30 to 100 eggs per snail. So next time you see a snail, know that it probably had a much more intricate and adventurous love life than you imagined. Number 6. Hyenas and the pseudopenis. The birthing process of spotted hyenas is exhausting and dangerous, especially for females. Unlike most mammals, female hyenas have a pseudopenis, a false penis that mimics male genitalia in structure but does not have the same function. This presents a huge challenge during mating and birth. The female needs to retract her pseudopenis to mate properly with the male, and when it's time to give birth, the situation becomes even more complicated. She must give birth through this extremely narrow opening, which is about 2.5 centimeter wide, but 5.8 centimeter long. This makes labor very painful and dangerous. Unfortunately, up to 60% of cubs get stuck and suffocate during birth, and more than 15% of mothers die in the process. Even when mother and cub survive, the female's genitalia often remain torn, causing long-lasting pain and discomfort. The scars from this brutal process can last a lifetime for both mother and cub. It's an incredibly difficult and tragic reproductive method for this species. Number 5. The sacrifice of velvet spiders. The birth process of velvet spiders is one of the most shocking and macabre examples of maternal sacrifice. After laying her eggs, the mother's body begins to decompose, with internal tissues liquefying. When the babies hatch, they are still too young and fragile to feed themselves. So in a tragic twist, the mother regurgitates the liquefied remains of her own decomposing body, which serve as food for the tiny spiders. This continues until there's nothing left for them to consume. At that point, the young spiders attack and consume the mother, eating every piece of her until only an empty carcass remains. Once finished, the young spiders disperse to start their own lives in the wild. This frightening process is a harsh reality of wildlife, where mothers often sacrifice everything for the survival of their offspring. The extreme sacrifice of the velvet spider highlights the sometimes brutal nature of reproduction in the animal kingdom. Number 4. The rare birth of horses. Horses are truly majestic creatures, known for their beauty, strength, and intelligence. Like humans, they need to reproduce to ensure the species' continuation. Usually, horses give birth to a single foal after about 11 months of gestation. However, there are rare occasions when horses have twins, or even triplets, which bring their own risks and challenges. Horse bodies are not designed to carry more than one foal at a time. They are built to nurture and care for a single baby, providing space, nutrients, and attention so it grows healthy and strong. When there are twins, the limited space in the uterus makes survival difficult for both foals. In these cases, veterinarians may perform a procedure called twin reduction, where one embryo is carefully removed to give the other a better chance of survival. Even when both foals survive, it's a rare and impressive event. One example is the story of Destiny, an Irish mare at a stud farm in England. Destiny's owner, Tanya McKee, noticed the mare was pregnant and took extra care of her, but no one expected what happened after birth. After delivering one foal, Destiny surprised everyone by giving birth to a second complete foal just minutes later. Both foals survived, an incredible feat in the world of horse births. However, caring for two foals simultaneously can be exhausting for the mother, and triplets are so rare that the chances of all surviving are extremely small. So, when you see a pregnant mare with a particularly large belly, there's a chance she might be carrying twins or triplets, a rare and risky event in the horse world. Number 3. The huge eggs of the colossal kiwi. Imagine carrying a baby that weighs half of your own body weight. Sounds impossible, right? But for the colossal kiwi, this is perfectly normal. This peculiar bird with long legs, a sharp beak, and unable to fly has one of the most remarkable reproductive traits in the animal kingdom. The kiwi lays eggs that represent about 25% of its body weight, which is huge considering the bird's size. A single kiwi egg is roughly the size of 6 chicken eggs, making it one of the largest eggs relative to body size in the bird world. During egg development, the kiwi consumes much more food than usual to support the growth of such a massive egg. This overburdens the bird, leaving it weak and uncomfortable, which is why the kiwi often seeks out cold water puddles to sit in, relieving some of the discomfort. After laying, it takes at least 80 days for the egg to hatch. When the chick finally arrives, it's like a giant baby entering the world, a chick the size of a human child. It's a fascinating process, comparable to a human giving birth to a 7-year-old child. The kiwi's reproductive process is a testament to the incredible ways animals adapt to the challenges of reproduction. Number 2. The painful birth of the porcupine. The birthing process of porcupines is one of the most painful and dangerous for the mother. Unlike most rodents, porcupine babies are born covered with soft quills that are sharp and serve as protection. Although this offers some defense to the babies, it can be dangerous during birth, especially if the quills are positioned incorrectly. If the baby is turned the wrong way during birth, the sharp quills can get stuck inside the mother's birth canal, causing extreme pain. This painful process poses a serious risk to both mother and baby, as the quills can tear tissues and cause complications. Despite the difficulty of birth, porcupines are resilient, and the mother must endure the pain to bring her babies into the world. After birth, the baby is completely dependent on the mother for protection and care. The birthing process highlights the challenges that come with the porcupine's natural defenses, and how nature's design sometimes results in consequences that are both protective and painful. Number 1. The mysterious births of snakes. Snakes have a wide variety of reproductive methods, and their birth processes are as mysterious as the creatures themselves. Some snake species lay eggs, while others give birth to live young, and each method brings its own set of fascinating traits. For oviparous snakes, the gestation period typically varies from 30 to 90 days, depending on the species. After the female lays her eggs, she may leave them to incubate alone or stay with them to keep them warm until hatching. The babies emerge fully formed and ready to start their independent lives. On the other hand, viviparous snakes give birth to live young, with a gestation period more similar to mammals, lasting between 3 and 6 months. The babies are born fully developed, but unlike those born from eggs, they depend on the mother for a while to learn survival skills before venturing out alone. This process is a testament to the adaptability of snakes and how different species evolved unique ways to give birth and care for their young. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Also, check out other interesting videos appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.